How's it going right there, eh? It's Denis here from Denis Logie Outdoors. Just gonna do a garden update. Haven't done a video in a while. Been actually busy with everyday stuff. Started a new job at work, different position, so kind of been working on that. I'm on vacation actually right now. Was up to the woodlot yesterday, spent the night, which was nice. Yeah, so I just picked some beans, green and yellow beans. That's the second picking of them, so lots of beans this year. There's a bunch of tomatoes coming up, quite a few plants, and I'll show you here in a sec. I did the method, I did a video last year on just taking the slices in the fall and just putting them on the dirt, and I'll show you the results from that. That's what this come from. It worked out really well. And then I also had a bunch of tomato volunteers growing everywhere, just from the seeds that were left from last year. So here's a bunch of onions, and like I said, I don't know how many tomato plants. I'm gonna leave the tomato plants there. Here's 2 rows of beets that need the greens picked off. There was a whole, well, there's still a bunch of tomatoes. I pulled a whole whack of them out, and I actually transplanted them over here on the other side of these tomatoes. That's a row of potatoes right there. And then here is 2 more rows and a few down at that back end of transplants. See, there's some tomatoes starting to grow on them, so they're doing well. This whole half of the garden here, I'm going to plant something here shortly, but we were just choked this year with weeds. You can see over here, I haven't done this, I'm trying to stay out of the sun. So what I've been doing is just putting cardboard down, choking it, and put transplants in, like those tomato plants. So I'm going to get some other things growing in here shortly. Right now I think it's August 4th. Have some asparagus growing here that's going crazy, just laying down. So I'm going to cover this back end here, and then if I don't plant anything, I'll just leave it for next year. And then over on that end is all the garlic. Yeah, so like I said, a couple rows of tomatoes. They'll be behind the other ones. There's a volunteer potato plant right there. This is all cucumbers, and they're starting to do pretty good actually. Yeah, so there's, where did I see there were some cucumbers already starting. Of course I can't find any right now. Anyhow, on this end, I got them crawling up on the fence. Some more volunteer tomatoes. Here's some corn. Corn's not very tall, but it's starting to get some corn on it. Last year was the first year I grew corn. See, there's some cucumbers and tomatoes growing in here. So this corn is actually from saved seeds that I saved myself last year. So this is the first time growing cabbage. Some red, green ones, they seem to be doing good. See some tomatoes set on those volunteer tomato plants. Like I said, in through these onions, it's all tomatoes just growing. And on the very back row, that is all pumpkins. Pumpkins are growing on top of the fence. So normally what I do is I get the pumpkins and then I start poking them through the fence, and then they just, you can see the plants are all growing down there, and I just let them run. So the pumpkins, they're from saved seeds from last year. The same deal with the cucumbers, that was saved seeds. Same deal with the corn. I'm going to try to save some zucchini this year. We have the lighter green zucchinis. I really don't know where I got the seeds for those, but I didn't have many. Here's one I gotta pick. So I picked 3 or 4 yesterday. So I want to save some zucchini seeds. Kale, have a lot of kale growing. I just cut all that way back. I've been feeding it to the rabbits. See on this end I gotta cut some. So I usually have the seeds saved for the kale, and it seems to do really well here. Unfortunately, everyone in the family doesn't like it, so I actually just feed it to the rabbits. So if someone has a good way to eat it or a recipe, let me know in the comments. The white flour, that is arugula that I always let go to seed, and I save the seeds and I plant that every year. I had a bunch over on this end over here, and I just chopped it all down. I got the seeds drying right now. Same deal with the lettuce. Lettuce was all going, it's bolting. I saved the seeds when that happens, and that's all my own seeds, and it seems to grow pretty good. Lately, what I've been doing is I feed it to the rabbits or the chickens, or someone was saying once it gets ready to start bolting like that, you try frying it or grilling it on the barbecue, and it seems to taste pretty good. I'll try that. The other day I did the second thinning. You can see how thick these carrots are, and they are all seeds, my own seeds that I saved. So what I've been doing is I'll get a piece of ground ready with a rake. I'll just loosen it up, pull the wood chips. I do the back to Eden method. It's hard to tell right now, but that's all wood chips. So I rake a spot, get some nice dirt, sprinkle the seeds super thick, cover it with a little bit of good compost material, and then I cover it with a board for a few days, and I keep checking it every couple of days. And as soon as I see the sprouts starting to pop up, then I take the board off and then let it go. Like I did this little thinning the other day, and I must have pulled out about, I don't know, 500-600 carrots, and I just fed them to the rabbits. Here's the green and yellow beans that are doing really well. Like I said, this is the second picking of them. The yellow beans on this end aren't doing as well at the fence because I have a row of peas growing there, and they're kind of taking over. So I got to yank all that stuff out. And yeah, so that's what I've been doing, going in here and picking some of the peas, eating them. And then in here's a strawberry patch. It is pretty well done. We did really well this year. There's a strawberry. I usually throw them to the chickens. Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on here. And then the strawberry. Like I said, they're pretty well finished. That's the chicken coop down that end. And like I was saying, the pumpkins, I just let them kind of take off, and they just grow down over that bank. And then in the fall, I end up pulling them out. Bunch of tomato plants, volunteers growing right here. Bunch of weeds. I gotta weed this. Kind of a mess. Bunch of yellow beans right there. Yeah, so far garden's not doing too bad. Another row of potatoes. Got to go through and thin some of the stuff out here. Yeah, like I was saying about the tomato plants, seeds, I'll show you what I did last year. You can go back in the videos. It was last fall that I just put the slices of tomato plants or tomato cuttings on top of the soil, and then just put it in the basement garage. I think I did that a little too early because I did see them late fall. They were starting to sprout in the basement garage, but this spring it worked anyhow. But I'll show you that here in a second. Here, stand by. On my way over there, I'll show you this. So there's some cucumbers growing through the fence. Another one right there, little guy. Last year I had the cucumbers on the back fence where the pumpkins are, and I decided to do it on this side because a lot of the cucumbers were on the opposite side of the fence, and that's quite a drop off, so I couldn't pick a lot of the cucumbers, so I thought I'd do it on this side this year. Anything else, anybody? Yeah, I had 3 rabbits get out. Gotta kind of catch them. Stand by. Okay, so here's some of the tomato plants. And like I said, if you go in the video back, you'll see the date. It was in the fall, I can't remember. I'll go check, or someone can go back and check, put it in the comments. These are just, I pulled several of them out, and that's what I transplanted. And I brought several pots like this up to the woodlot, up to the cabin site, and I have them growing up there. Right now, I don't have anywhere to put these, so actually they're just drying up and dying. It's a shame, really, but I don't know how many. There's piles and piles and piles of them growing in through here. I water them every once in a while, but really they should be taken out, or I did give some away to a friend of mine. Anyhow. Okay, here's another broody hen that she only had 3 that made it. The last mother, she had 7, and they are running around. If I can find them, I'll show you them. They were in that cage where that rabbit was just at. So these guys are doing pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the door and let them kind of get ready to free range. So I'll usually let these guys out separate and let her have run of the yard in the compost pile, and then later on in the day I'll let these other guys out. Yeah, I think there's 17, 18 hens right now. The rooster is gone. He's gone to compost camp, and yeah, so one of the other 7 that are running around, there's a rooster in that batch. I'll go see if I can find them. Okay, here are these guys, the 7 of them. Like I said, I suspect one of them is a rooster, and I think it might be that white one right there. Yeah, just better see him, this little gray guy. So I let these guys out in the morning. The mother that was with them, the little black one with the gray neck, she is on her own now. She went back with everybody else. So these guys are on their own to fend for themselves. I did a short video on these guys when they're hatched out. I think it was in May sometime. Yeah, anyhow, just thought I'd give you a little update on the garden and the chickens and the rabbits. Anyhow, that's it for now. So if you could, like, share, subscribe, comment. Thanks for watching. That's the end there.